Hey everyone, we are back for chapter 26 of the Adventures of Will Irving, Automaton Trouble. Here we go. Will awoke to the smell of waffles and the sound of chatter coming from the kitchen. But it was one particularly cheerful voice that truly drew him from his dreamy state. "When are they gonna wake up?" Will heard Emily ask impatiently. The sound of his sister's voice was music to Will's ears and brought a smile to his face. He looked down at Claire, who was still asleep, nestled against his chest and wrapped in his arms. They had fallen asleep while sitting on the sofa together. Will tenderly caressed her cheek, and Claire began to stir. She opened her eyes and looked up at Will and smiled. "Good morning," Will quietly greeted with a smile. "Good morning," Claire replied. "How about some breakfast?" Will suggested. "Smells like waffles." Claire nodded in assent, and Will kissed her forehead before letting her go. They both rose from the sofa, and Will took Claire's hand. "Someone's been waiting all morning to see you," Will whispered as he led Claire toward the kitchen. Claire smiled knowingly as she heard Emily's voice in the background. They paused in the kitchen doorway to take in the scene. Max was busy prepping waffles, while Hank was making omelets on the stove. Emily, who was sitting at the breakfast nook table with her back to the doorway, was doing her best to make time pass quicker by reading a book. "Well, good morning, everyone," Will chimed as they entered the kitchen. Emily immediately shot around in her chair and beamed a gigantic smile. "Will! Claire!" Emily exclaimed as she raced over and threw her arms around them both at the same time. "I'm so glad you guys are safe." "Good morning," Max greeted cheerfully. "Come on in, you two," Hank welcomed. "Breakfast is just about ready." "Come on," Emily said as she took Claire's hand and led her and Will to the breakfast nook table. "This might be a little small for everyone today, Em," Will said. "We'll make room," Emily insisted. "It's cozier here." "Okay," Will replied with a chuckle. "I guess I can't argue with that." A few minutes later, everyone was seated around the table enjoying breakfast. When Emily and Claire, who were sitting next to one another, had both finished eating, Emily put her hand on top of Claire's and gave her a sad smile as she looked deep into her eyes. "I'm sorry about your dad, Claire," Emily said compassionately. "Thank you, Emily," Claire replied as she felt her eyes begin to well up. "I know you're sad, but don't forget, you're not alone," Emily encouraged. Claire gave Emily's hand a little squeeze and then pulled her into a big hug. And that's chapter 26. I'll see you next time for chapter 27.